Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Talking Sports with CJ and Fonz. Tonight on this November 7th night, we're back after 2 week. We had a week vacation, and I want to welcome back a man who hasn't been on in 3 weeks, Fonz, to the show.
What's going on? I'm kind of getting sick of that Bears song, to tell you the truth.
Oh, get used to it, man. The Bears are peaking. It's a fun time to be a Bears fan, especially after that victory on Sunday. 51 points they dropped on the Titans, and they got a huge Sunday night showdown against the Houston Texans. So it's going to be big at Soldier Field. It's going to be cold. National television, 7-1 versus 7-1. It's going to be a big game.
What happened to the Bears draft this year? What happened to the kid they drafted in the first round?
Oh, he plays. What the Bears do is they run a 7-man defensive rotation. So he'll come in, and the good part of that is what Julius Peppers said was Marinelli lets them come out when they want. Like if Peppers wants to come out and say he's tired, they can bring in the rookie, and then they can bring in Corey Wootman, who's a third year defensive end who's been playing well, and then they got Izzy, and it's getting then defensive tackles. They got a rotation, so it's good and it's working because the Bears defense is generating pressure and causing turnovers, and everybody's joining in on the action on the Bears defense. It's scoring a touchdown a week.
They haven't really. I gotta admit that draft. I was looking over their draft, and they really didn't have a good draft. Maybe it was Jeffrey was playing, but what about that kid Rodriguez, the tight end? Does he play?
He got hurt, and then he came back from injury, and he really hasn't been playing. I don't know what happened. They started working in Kyle Adams, who's a converted tight end. Because the Bears run the H-back position with Mike Tice, and this kid Rodriguez can't get back on the field recently. But I want to talk real quick about the Bears defense. As you saw, I don't know if you saw the game, or you probably saw highlights, Fonz. Brian Urlacher, 46-yard touchdown return. Did you see him? He looked like he's still got the speed, man, even at 34 years old.
I keep telling you, I have the red zone, so I see every score.
That wasn't a red zone score. That was a pick six.
Dude, the red zone shows every score. Even extra points, field goals, everything.
And then they also scored the Bears a franchise record, 28 points in the first quarter, which I can't believe that's a franchise record.
Listen, I hate the bust your balls, but the Bears' record is fraudulent.
Oh, come on. Right, screw you.
Ready?
We're gonna bomb you off the air.
You don't like to hear the truth, but listen to their
listen to what? They're 7-1.
Listen to their last 6 games.
Oh, here we go.
St. Louis.
You guys just played the Rams 2 weeks ago.
Can I finish? St. Louis, a bad Dallas team. Jacksonville, hosting Detroit, Carolina, and Tennessee. Now, where's there a playoff team in there?
Let's go through the Patriots' 5 wins.
They're a lot better than those.
Oh, Buffalo? Yeah. There's a winning team. Alabama could beat Buffalo.
No, they can't.
You guys beat the Rams, the Titans. That's 3 wins. Who are the other 2 wins? Ooh, the Jets. That's a scary football team. And then who was the 5th win? Miami?
Tennessee.
Oh, no, he said Tennessee. Did you guys play Miami yet?
No.
So who's the 5th win? We said Tennessee. I don't know.
They started with Tennessee, then lost to Arizona, lost to Baltimore. Then it was Buffalo. I forget now. I can't think.
I'm telling you, if the Bears win the next 2 games against Houston and San Francisco, I want respect on the air.
You're not going to. They're going to lose back-to-back games.
We will see. You want to bet that?
I'll bet whatever you want. That's a cupcake schedule.
Oh, please.
I'm picking Houston this week, not for nothing.
The Bears are winning that game. But you know what might not happen for the Bears? Tillman might not play Sunday night. His wife might be in labor.
Yeah, I heard that.
So that would be a loss.
He might be without Tillman, and I definitely like Houston to win that game. Sticking with the NFC, what about the Eagles?
Ugh, they're a mess. Andy Reid he's going to be done. John Gruden is going to be the next coach of that football team. Mark my words.
You love Gruden so
much. I do. The visor on the sideline.
I don't know. They lost to the Saints because of a pick 6 by Vic. And now they're in a must-win host in Dallas, which I think they're going to win. But I was looking at their schedule.
Mm-hmm.
After Dallas, they play Washington, Carolina, Dallas, again, Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
So if they can, they're not out of it yet, but they're pretty much on the brink right now. They're in a must-win this week.
I'd hate to see if they lose Sunday to Dallas at home because, oh my God, the media in Philly is going to eat apart Vic and Andy Reid. And you can't blame Vic. He was sacked 7 times. I mean, the pick 6, okay, but he was sacked 7 times. And come on, they went first and goal 4 times and managed only 2 field goals.
I never seen a quarterback get hit so fast.
Yeah, they're in trouble.
The pressure came in so quick that he didn't even have a chance. And he has more passing yards than Jay Cutler this year, too.
Oh, and Cutler is highest quarterback rating in the fourth quarter this season. And he's 13-1 in his last 14 starts. That is pretty damn good. But listen to this.
I mean, he's so defensive about the Bears, but like you can't handle honest criticism.
Honest criticism. He's got the highest quarterback rating. He's got a higher rating than Rodgers, Brady, any of the quarterbacks in the NFL in the fourth quarter. To me, that's a good quarterback.
The only playoff team they faced this year, Green Bay, they lost.
That was in week 2. I guarantee you when Green Bay comes to Chicago in December, the Bears are winning that game. I'm telling you, because the Packers are in trouble. Nick Perry now is out for the season, I heard. The rookie who was doing good.
Jordy Nelson's hurt again.
Yeah, they're in trouble, Green Bay. I mean, they'll probably get in the playoffs. I'll laugh if they miss the playoffs by a game and then it comes down to that week 2 game, you know? But moving along now to the Bucs, I want to talk about Doug Martin, the rookie, who's just put on a show against the Raiders in his hometown of Oakland over the weekend. He rushed for 251 yards. He actually had 265, but then he had a couple of big losses at the end, knocked him down to 251. 4 touchdowns. He was in front of 60 family members who saw this, and then he had scored on touchdown runs of 145, 67, and 70. And he became the first back since 1940 to score on 3 touchdown runs of at least 45 yards in one game. So, and the Bucs are 4-4, and they're clicking on offense. Freeman is playing good. I know you're not a big Freeman fan, but you got to admit he's been playing very well lately.
I don't mind him, but the Bucs have the NFL's best run defense, you know, but they have the worst pass defense.
Yeah, and then they traded Talib to the Patriots, and now Eric Wright might be suspended. So yeah, they're hurting in the secondary.
I do like Doug Martin. He's got almost 800 yards in 8 games.
Yeah, so, he's rookie of the year, I think. Offensive, him or Luck, offensive rookie of the year.
Yeah, but as far as comparisons to Emmitt Smith and things like that, you know, Emmitt Smith's the NFL's all-time leading rusher. So he's got to do it for a couple of years first.
Yeah, I think it was Tom Flores, the ex-Raider coach, an ex-Seahawk coach, who said he's going to be the next Emmitt Smith. And yeah, you're right. It's too early. He's going to be a good back, though. And LeGarrette Blount, he gets 1 carry at the end and he fumbles. I mean, his days in Tampa Bay, I think, are pretty numbered at this point.
He reminds me more of Jones-Drew for some reason.
Than Ray Rice?
Yeah, he reminds me because Ray Rice. I haven't seen Doug Martin catch a lot out of the backfield.
No, but
like Ray Rice does, you know.
Yeah, no, he's going to be good though. But we'll see. I mean, it's early in his career. You don't know. You know, running backs now, their careers get shortened pretty quick.
Yeah, usually rookie running backs come on strong first couple of years.
Yeah.
There's not too many Adrian Petersons left out there.
No, I agree. Mm-hmm.
Let me see. What else? You brought up Andrew Luck. I wanted to talk about the Colts quick.
Oh, yeah.
We're moving kind of quick, but the Colts went to 5-3 behind Andrew Luck.
Mm-hmm.
He has the same passing yardage as Manning, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
In the first 8 games. So, in the Colts, they gave, you know, they passed up on Manning to move in a totally different direction, and everyone was criticizing them, but they're right there in the hunt again.
Mm-hmm. They sure are. 5-3.
Everyone's hoping for that Colts-Broncos playoff game.
Oh, yeah, that'd be awesome.
And I think I'd be rooting for Manning there.
Me too. I would.
So what do you think of the Colts' chances of making the playoffs?
Andrew Luck has been amazing. 433 yards passing over the weekend. And then you're also playing for Chuck Pagano right now. I mean, that's inspiring this team. I mean, a lot of the players shaved their heads today. Vinatieri, one of them, Luck. And the one person no one's talking about is Bruce Arians, the offensive coordinator, who's done wonders with this offense. Reggie Wayne is having a big year. The offensive line is protecting Luck. So Bruce Arians, who was the Steelers' offensive coordinator, has been an added plus for this team, even though he's just a coach.
Arian has worked with a rookie Peyton Manning and a rookie Roethlisberger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he's good at grooming them.
He said that Andrew Luck is farther along than both of them. He's the furthest along quarterback at this stage in their career than any quarterback he's ever worked with.
And you know one thing, they play Jacksonville this Thursday night, and then they play New England and Buffalo. So if they can win, I don't think they're going to beat New England. I think they'll beat Buffalo, and I think they'll beat Jacksonville. If they can win 2 out of 3, I mean, that'd make them 7-4. They'll be in good shape for.
I got them at 9-7, only because they still have to play Houston twice.
Mm-hmm.
They have to go to Foxborough and they go to Detroit. So I think those are 4 losses right there. And then they beat Buffalo, Tennessee, and Kansas City. So that's why I put them at 9-7.
Yeah, and it could get them in the playoffs. I mean, the AFC is not as strong as the NFC. The NFC, it's going to take 10 wins to get in the playoffs, I believe. But AFC, 9 wins might get them in, but 10 safe. I think 10 usually you're in. I mean, there's been years. I mean, one year the Patriots won 11 games. Was it 08? And they make the playoffs. So
yeah.
But that's very rarity. That doesn't happen a whole lot. So usually teams get 10 wins, they're in, and we'll see. I mean, the Colts are a good story this year, and with the whole Chuck Pagano thing, and I mean, it's just they're a good NFL story this season compared to a lot of bad stuff that's been happening in the NFL in the off season, arrest and Bounty Gate. So they're a good story. But I know you want to talk some college football. It's heating up now, man. We're getting nitty gritty, undefeateds.
What a game Notre Dame played Saturday night. It was the best game I've seen probably this season.
Oh,
I know we were watching it together over the phone, but
hey, Fonz, hold 1 second. Hold on 1 second. We're waiting on. Nolan's relaying a message to me right now. Well, you're getting him on already? 805. Oh, we're gonna call him 805. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we're back on. Yeah, we're not getting on Kawika till 8:05 tonight. Fonz.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're getting Kawika Mitchell on, ex-NFL linebacker of the 07 Giants on tonight at 8:05. But moving right along, go back to your Notre Dame because I'm pumped because I'm a huge Irish fan, and Notre Dame being undefeated, could keep going on.
The thing is, the 4 ranked teams we've played this year,
mm-hmm.
we've won pretty handily. In the unranked, they've kind of struggled with it.
No, I agree. And last week, I thought they were going to lose to Pittsburgh. I mean, I was talking to you on the phone, if you recall, and I'm like, the undefeated season's over,
When they went down 20-6 and they needed 2 scores.
Yeah, they were in trouble.
That was just a great game.
Well, they're 9-0, best start since '93. Golson I think he was awesome. 23 of 42, 227 yards. He's starting to peak a little bit. And now the Irish play BC this week, and they play BC, Wake Forest, and USC. Those are the next 3 games.
At USC, that's going to be tough. But you mentioned 1993, right?
Mm-hmm. That was the year they beat Florida State.
And they went 9-0. And then who did they lose to on the 10th game?
Boston College. I'll never forget that game.
Isn't that amazing that they play them now for the 10th game?
And it's funny, in 2002, they started off 8-0, and they lost to Boston College. So Boston College, regardless of how bad they've been in those years, they weren't good those 2 years. They beat Notre Dame, but they've always been a thorn.
This year, they're exceptionally bad, Boston College. I don't think they have any chance at all against Notre Dame this week.
And Notre Dame tends to play better on the road than at home.
Right.
Which is a rarity. I mean, from playing in front of the student body in Notre Dame, you'd think they'd be playing better, but they've gone into road games. Look at the game against Oklahoma in Norman. That's a tough environment, hostile environment. They went in totally, they didn't destroy them, but towards the end they pulled away, and it was just a great win. And, we'll see.
They did destroy Oklahoma 30-13 in Michigan State, 1-3 on the road.
So we'll see. It's going to be, BC, Wake Forest, they should win that game. USC is going to be the big game, but regardless if they go undefeated, they still might not be in the national championship if Oregon stays undefeated in Alabama, In
Kansas State.
Yeah, so I don't know, but moving right along to the team that I believe is the most unstoppable. They're the best team in the country, Alabama. They're not. They got us scared. They're on life support. against LSU over the weekend. They ended up coming back, winning 21-17 in Death Valley. The winning drive was a 72-yard 5-play drive. A.J. McCarron, 28-yard screen pass to T.J. Yeldon for the winning touchdown. But, Alabama's defense, they wasn't unstoppable this time. LSU had 435 yards of offense. This was the first game where Alabama's defense looked normal, beatable.
They got Texas A&M this weekend?
Yeah, they host them, though. Texas A&M has been a great story. Their first year in the SEC, but I can't see Alabama losing that game.
They got Johnny Football.
Your boy.
I don't know. I think he's gonna give Bama some problems. I don't like Bama. I hope they lose, but they're probably gonna still win that game.
Yeah, and I really thought LSU had them. They had them on the ropes, and then that last drive.
That was probably the only time I ever rooted for LSU.
Yeah, I hate Les Miles so much. I can't root for LSU. I just cannot. I just do not like Les Miles. I think he's arrogant and pompous, and I'm just not big on him. I'm not a big Alabama fan. I'm not a big Nick Saban fan, but I think he's a great coach.
Wouldn't it be crazy if Bama got into the national title game with one loss over an undefeated Notre Dame team?
Oh, I'd be pissed. I'd boycott the national championship.
A lot of people would. This is the year that I think it's going to blow up in their face, even though they have a Final Four plan already for the 2014 season.
Yeah, you're right. We might have 4 undefeateds.
The other team still in the mix is Kansas State,
Whew, I can't believe it. Colin Klein he's amazing. I've never heard of this kid till this season.
Well, he's the leading candidate for the Heisman Trophy right now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, big time.
And he suffered a concussion last week, so he's questionable to start against TCU this week.
I think he'll play.
Yeah, Bill Snyder kind of hinted that he's doing all right and he's going to play. But Bill Snyder's been there for so long. He left and then he came back. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh, yeah. I forget who the coach was, but I remember him coming back. Yep.
But I think he kind of deserves his chance. This is going to be his chance at the national title. That kid Klein he's a good person and a good player. So I think his stars are aligning for Kansas State.
And that K-State offense have scored 44 points 6 times this season. So Klein is leading that offense. And, I mean, the only thing I'm going to say, though, if they go undefeated and Oregon goes undefeated, I think Oregon's going to make it to the national championship. I really believe they'll pass Kansas State if the two of them remain undefeated.
Well, I'm hoping. I don't think Notre Dame's going to beat USC on the road, especially after USC scored 51 against Oregon.
I agree with you.
I don't see Notre Dame winning that game. So I'm hoping Oregon loses and Kansas State gets in because I just want to see K-State with a chance against that Bama D.
Yeah, I'd like to see Klein against them. And, I've been underestimating Notre Dame all year. I'm a big Notre Dame fan, and I said they had no chance against Oklahoma. Remember that? And they won. So I don't know. It's going to be a good finish. This is the good time to follow college football. Even if you're a casual fan, this is a good time. We're getting towards the last 4 weeks of the season. So we'll see. And I love the bowl games. I know there's so many damn bowl games now. I mean, some of them are meaningless and pointless, but it's still fun to watch them,
Quick Celtic update.
Uh-oh.
Celtics are up 11-2 right now.
They're playing Washington tonight, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
In Boston.
I want to get some college football picks from you. We're going to go just do the undefeated teams. Now that we're with 4 teams, we usually make 4 picks a week. First game we're going to talk about is number 15 Texas A&M at number 1 Alabama. Does Texas A&M have any chance of going in there and pulling an upset?
If it was at Texas A&M, I'd say yes, but not at Bama. I don't think. I think Johnny Manziel will keep it close and interesting, and he'll make some plays, but Bama will win in the end.
Yeah, he's got that. He's that passing threat of Texas A&M with your boy Johnny Manziel, whatever you pronounce his last name. But I don't think Alabama's going to lose this game. I think they'll be ready. They're focused. They got a scare last week by LSU, but I like Alabama to win by 2 touchdowns. Next game, Kansas State goes into TCU. We don't know. I guess Klein's going to be maybe a game time decision. Does TCU have a chance at home?
They always do. They always have a good team, but it all depends if Klein plays. If Klein plays, they win. If not, they don't.
I agree. And it's going to be if Klein doesn't play, the backup, Daniel Sams, I think they'll play it conservative. I don't think they'll be trying to put up 44 points with their backup quarterback. But I don't know, even without Klein, I still think They may win this game. I don't know, but Klein's going to play. Klein plays, they win. I mean, they're too focused.
Their toughest game is going to be Texas, the last game of the year.
Yeah. Oregon goes into California to play the Golden Bears. What does Oregon's offense too much for Cal?
Cal's one of those teams that they play horrible one week and then they'll play like amazing the next. They gave Ohio State a run for their money.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping they beat Oregon, but I don't think so. I don't think they have a chance.
The only thing I wonder is, do they overlook Cal? They're on the road, and the next two games after Cal, they play Stanford and Oregon State, which back-to-back weeks are going to be hard. So do they overlook Cal? I say no. Cal's defense is overmatched. I mean, freaking Oregon's offense looks like it's like a video game offense. Every time I put on the game, they scored. What is it, 62 points they put up on USC?
Yeah, and the running back, his name slips my mind right now, but he's the number 2 candidate for the Heisman Trophy right now.
Yeah, they're a dangerous team, and USC scores 51 points and loses. That's amazing. And the last game I want to talk about is number 4 Notre Dame goes into Boston College. Are we going to see shades of 93 and 2002, or do the Irish keep this undefeated season going?
How about this? Boston College will not score.
You think so?
They're going to get shut out at home. Maybe they'll have 1 or 2 field goals. They definitely won't score a touchdown. I'll tell you that much.
I'll tell you one thing. The only thing Boston College is good at, I was looking at their stats, they're a very good red zone defense team. And Notre Dame had a tough time a little bit last week in the red zone, the last couple of weeks. But I don't think Notre Dame loses this game. I think if they're going to lose, it's going to be USC.
I think it'll be like 27-0 or 27-3, something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Notre Dame's going to win this game. Like I'm going to agree with you. If the game Notre Dame's going to lose, it's going to be the USC game. They're not going to lose to Boston College or Wake Forest.
Right. I'm hoping they beat USC, but I don't see it happening.
And they've always struggled up in the Coliseum. They've always struggled there.
Except for the year that they should have won against Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush.
Yeah, well, that was at Notre Dame, that game where Leinart scored.
He got pushed in at the end.
Oh, that game was awesome.
I thought that was at USC.
No, that was at Notre Dame. I'll never forget. I remember that game. I remember just watching that game. I remember like it was yesterday. It was 2005, and Notre Dame should have pulled off the upset in that game. And I remember there was a big. I remember USC started. Yeah, I remember USC started back. They were way back in that last drive, and I think it was that Dwayne Jarrett.
It was like 4th and 15.
Yeah, and he completed the Dwayne Jarrett. Remember him, the bust receiver for the Panthers?
Yeah, he thought he was so good.
Oh, he was terrible. Steve Smith said he had no work ethic, but he made a big catch in that game, and it was I thought Notre Dame had it because the place was loud, 4th down, and freaking USC came and won that game, and that just about. I mean, Notre Dame had a chance to go to the national championship that season. I believe they played Ohio State in a BCS bowl that year, but not the national championship.
Was Ty Willingham the coach
that year? Or was it No, Charlie Weiss. Charlie Weiss, yeah, he was a coach.
Oh, that's right.
He was your boy. How could you forget that? Your boy was a coach.
That was his first year, right?
Yeah, he's at Kansas now. I don't even know how Kansas is doing. Has he even won any games in Kansas?
Yeah, he's not. But they're not doing that great, though.
It's like, buddy, give it up. All right. Moving right along now to NBA. But NBA started. I mean, opening week was last week with some weird things going on, especially with the Lakers starting off so bad and the Knicks starting off 3-0, which has been surprising. People knew they were going to be good, but 3-0, no one thought that was going to happen off the bat. And then teams like Utah's 1-3, San Antonio's 4-0. I mean, San Antonio's always there though in the regular season. Don't you ever notice they're always good in the regular season?
Well, as long as they have Tim Duncan, they're going to be.
I've seen them play once this season. I saw the game. I think it was their second game where Parker hit the buzzer beater against Oklahoma City.
Yeah, that was Westbrook's fault. You let him go.
Yeah, and that was a big win. And Popovich he's a good coach. He really is. He's been there forever. And I mean, maybe they should have won more championships. They did win a lot. I mean, they won 05. They won what did they win 3 or 4 at Popovich?
4, 99, 03, 05, 07.
07, that's right. That's 07. They swept LeBron.
They shouldn't have won 07 though because Stoudemire got suspended in the Western Conference Finals. Remember?
Oh, I do remember that. Yep.
So, and Phoenix was up 3-2. going home. So that's they kind of got screwed.
I do remember that series. But I want to start with NBA, and of course, I'm going to start with the team, the team that's always in the news, the Los Angeles Lakers. 1-3, started off losing to Dallas. They've lost to the Clippers. They've lost to Portland. They finally won against a bad Piston team on, was it Sunday night? But now they're 1-3. They're playing tonight against Utah. They're trying to learn this new Eddie Jordan Princeton offense, which I think is not meant for these players. I think it's a bad offense to run. But at the same time, they've been dealt with injuries. They had that 0-8 preseason. Guys have been injured. Nash is out right now. We've seen Kobe was injured in the preseason. Howard came back late in the preseason. Do you think this Princeton offense is going to actually work? And Mike Brown, they got to start winning, and he might not survive the season.
Well, it's going to work, and I'm going to tell you why.
Oh, wow.
And how. I'm going to tell you why and how. Because Mike Brown is going to be fired, and you already said who their new head coach is going to be.
Who's going to be?
Eddie Jordan.
You think Eddie Jordan's going to take over the Lakers?
They're going to fire Mike Brown by the All-Star break, and Eddie Jordan's going to take over.
Yeah, but that Princeton offense.
That's when they're going to start playing good.
That Princeton offense, though, it doesn't allow Nash to dominate the ball, like distribute it. It's not meant for him to be in that offense. That's the only thing I wonder. These guys are not meant to be in this offense, and I don't think Gasol is as good as he once was. I don't know. He's lost a step too.
I don't like their small forward position. They got Ron Artest.
Meta World Peace. Not Artest.
I mean, his backup is Devin Ebanks. Like, I don't like what they did there. Their bench is horrible.
Jameson's been a bust so far. I know it's only been 4 games, but
their backup shooting guard is Jody Meeks.
Yeah, it is.
Their backup point guard is Blake and Chris Duhon, Darius Moore. Like, I don't. What do they do? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, and Blake got in trouble. Did you see that?
Yeah, he swore at a fan. You know what Kobe Bryant's career points per game is?
28 point something?
No, it's a lot less than that. It's like 25.9. I was kind of surprised.
Wow, yeah, I was thinking like 28, 29. Yeah.
And this year, I think he's at 26 so far. So he's going to have to get it closer to 30 for them to win on a consistent basis, And Dwight Howard's going to have to get healthy quick.
Yeah, I agree. And I just think, Kobe played in that triangle offense, Tex Winner's, triangle offense for so long. And, trying to learn a new offense now in his career, he might get sick of this offense.
I just don't like their attitudes, like telling everyone away. I don't know. I said it before the season started. It wasn't going to work.
You were right.
Remember? And you yelled at me just like you did against the Bears earlier. You yelled at me the same way.
We're 4 games into the season. We still got 78 more to go. The Lakers, you forget the Heat started off slow. The year they went to the finals against the Mavericks, and they turned it around and got to the finals.
Yeah, but they weren't under 500 at any point. Also, the Lakers were like 0-9 in the preseason.
Oh, preseason.
Yeah, but they still play for their players.
You don't think this star power that they have is not going to carry them deep into the playoffs?
They should, but do you see the Lakers beating the Spurs in the series right now?
Not now, but teams peak. It's early. We're a week into the season, and you're writing them off.
I'm not writing them off. I just don't see them going far the way they are now.
And the best thing Orlando did was get rid of Dwight Howard. I've been watching a couple Magic games. That team, they have no stars, but big babies coming in. He's becoming a good player. Redick, Nelson, Fowler's been playing well. I think he had 28 last night. And then they have that kid Vucevic or something, the center they signed. He's been getting a double-double a game. These guys are playing good together. They're 2-1, and they're playing tonight. So, it's been good. It was good to get rid of Howard.
They lost to Chicago last time, right?
Yeah, they're playing tonight against Minnesota. That's who it is. But they should have beat Chicago. I was watching some of that game, and they blew it in the fourth quarter. Noah had a big game. He had like 6 blocks, and the Bulls stole that game. But the Magic played good last night too, and they're playing good together. Jacque Vaughn's doing. I know it's 3 games old, but Jacque Vaughn's not doing a bad job so far. They're playing for him.
So for the Lakers, it's too early, but for the Magic, it's not.
I'm just saying they're playing good. The best thing they ever did was get rid of Howard. That's what I said.
You changed your argument you change your points to fit your argument every time.
The Lakers will be there in the end. I'm telling you that. The Magic, they might be an 8 seed, but I'm just saying it was meant to get rid of Howard. I'm just saying that was a good move.
He will not beat OKC in the Western Conference.
We will see. We will see.
All right. Well, another Western Conference team. We spent a lot of time on the Lakers right there.
Yeah, I know.
How about the Rockets? It's James Harden.
Oh, I know. He's been playing. I mean, he's a focal point now.
He's awesome. Him and Jeremy Lin, that was the best thing that ever happened to Jeremy Lin because all the pressure's off of him now. He could just play, you know?
Yeah.
You know they paid Omar Sheik $8 million a year?
Yeah, I don't get that. What did he do in Chicago? That was so great. But people can call in. People can call and talk NBA with us tonight. 727-493-2055. You can text me an NBA, NFL, college football question at 727-278-9814.
Yeah, they're a young team. They got the kid from Kentucky, Terrence Jones, too, who's starting because of Patrick Patterson's injured. But Chandler Parsons is decent.
Yeah, the Gator, ex-Gator.
I like Harden right now, but it's only a matter of time that the defenses are going to catch on to him and shut him down, you know?
And he's shooting the ball more than ever. He's fourth in the league in shots taken, which, I mean, he was getting his shots in Oklahoma City, but he was the third option in that offense, you know?
Well, he was sixth man of the year, so he was number one when he came off the bench. But he didn't show up in the finals.
Nope.
And he'll have a good season. I don't think he'll keep up the pace he's at, but he'll definitely have a good season, probably make the All-Star game, you know?
All right, we got 5 more minutes till we get Kawika Mitchell on. Let's talk about the Knicks real quick. The 3-0 start for the New York Knicks, best start since 99 to 2000. They haven't allowed no more than 88 points in a single game this season, and they're taking care of the ball. Last night, 2 nights ago, only 7 turnovers against Philly on Monday night, and Rasheed Wallace and Raymond Felton have been pleasant surprises. Rasheed Wallace coming out of retirement. What do you think of this Knicks team?
I think they're good. Mason Kidd also contributing. They move the ball around a lot. Melo's playing great, but the key question that everyone has is how are they going to do when Stoudemire comes back?
Yeah, I know. I mean, right now, defensively, they're playing so great. I mean, is he going to hold his team down?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but some fans are saying they should trade Stoudemire.
Hey, if they keep playing like this, why not? I mean, you never want to. When a team's playing this well and they keep it up, I mean, you want to keep the same 5 players on the floor, same bench. You know, you don't want a guy to disrupt what's going on, and it might not be a bad idea.
It's not just anybody. It's Amari Stoudemire.
Yeah, I know, but
he's making $20 million a year.
I know. If the Knicks keep playing defense the way they are, though, they're going to be a dangerous team. They beat the Heat. They beat Philly pretty handily on Monday night, so they're playing defense, and they're off to a very good start.
I agree. And another team that's off to a good start, number 1 in points per game, is Miami Heat.
Yep.
Ray Allen is fitting in very nicely, as everyone expected. You know, they're going to be better than they were last year. Is this season about Miami? Is it a foregone conclusion that Miami's going to the finals?
Oh, yeah, they are going to the finals. Now they got the big 4. Ray Allen has been awesome. He's averaging 15.7 points a game. And like you said, they rank first in scoring, 107.7 points a game. They're going to be in the finals. I mean, the Celtics can give them a run, maybe the Knicks, but nobody's beating the Miami Heat. The only team that's going to beat them could be the Lakers if they peak, even though you've already gave up on them after 4 games. Or maybe Oklahoma City. I don't think San Antonio, but Miami probably repeat.
Well, I'm taking the Celtics in 7.
Oh my God! I don't know. I know it was the first game, but boy, they handled the Celtics in that first game, man.
The teams you see now are not going to be the same teams in March, April, May. So it's a long season. It's not like football where it's 16 games. You know, you got 82 games plus the playoffs.
No, I agree. It is a long season, and teams start peaking, like you said, usually after the All-Star break. And I mean, I'm looking back. Look at the Laker team in 2001, the team that went through the playoffs basically unscathed. They lose one game, the Philly in the finals. The Lakers, they had that team was struggling early on.
Was that the team that played? All right, so that wasn't the team that beat Portland in the playoffs. Then
no, that was the year before. I'm trying to think if they played Portland again. No, they played Sacramento. I'm talking about the 2000-2001 Lakers where they only lost one playoff game, which was game 1 to the Sixers in the finals. But they had that stretch where they were struggling and they just turned it on at the end of the season and they were invincible, you know?
Yeah. So that was the second of their 3 championships?
Yeah, the first one was that you were talking about the conference finals against Portland and they beat Indiana. And then they beat Philly in 01, and then 02, New Jersey had no chance. That should have been a Celtics-Lakers finals. But New Jersey beat Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals to end that, you know?
Yeah.
Well, we're about to get Kawika Mitchell, ex-USF linebacker, ex-Super Bowl champion for the 2007 New York Giants. We're about to get him on the phone. I just want to look at some of the NFL picks for Sunday while we're getting Kawika on the phone. We got the Bears-Texans. That's the big game. Dallas-Philly. I think Philly wins that game. And Tampa Bay hosts San Diego. Tampa Bay 4-4, could go to 5-4. San Diego they lost to Cleveland a couple weeks ago on the road, so Bucks could win that game. Detroit at Minnesota is a big game. One of those teams, Minnesota's been hurting. They're about to fall out of the race. They started that great start, but I think Detroit takes that game. And looking at some other games, you got Kansas City, Pittsburgh. I don't know. Kansas City got the Monday night game. That's pitiful. Kansas City's so bad. I was watching them against the Chargers last week, and that's a bad football team. Matt Castle is horrendous, and they're gonna get stomped, especially the way the Steelers have been playing lately. That's gonna be an ugly game. And then you got the Dolphins. They're at home against Tennessee. I like Miami in that game, and I like the Colts to win tomorrow night. I think the Colts will beat Jacksonville. I think they'll be 6-3. Andrew Luck's going to continue his rookie campaign for Offensive Rookie of the Year, and I think they'll win that game. And then you get the Giants at the Bengals. The Bengals are fading, and I start to wonder how Marvin Lewis keeps his job. I mean, it's going to be the year he gets fired because the Bengals are just up and down every season. One year they're good, one year they're bad. Giants get that together. Giants will win that game. Buffalo, New England. New England's going to win that game. I mean, I don't see them losing at home to Buffalo. Hello, we got Kawika Mitchell on the phone.
Yes, sir.
Hey, how's it going? This is Talking Sports with CJ and Fonz tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's good. It's an honor to have you on. Ex-Super Bowl champion, ex-USF player. We got a lot of USF fans that tune in.
Yeah, that's good to hear. You know, I like to start off by, you're never really an ex-Super Bowl champion. You know, that's kind of like an oxymoron.
Oh, you'll like it. My co-host on the other line, Fonz, is a big Patriot fan. He still cries over that Super Bowl game where you guys beat his Patriots.
It's very hard. It's very hard to think about even today.
I understand your pain, man. You know, there's a lot of guys and women that can relate. I can't personally, but I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Rodney Harrison said it took him about a year to get over it, and he still hasn't really gotten fully over it yet.
Yeah, I had a chance to see him up in Atlanta one time at a colleagues of ours, and I was polite to him. You know, I just made sure he knew who I was and how I knew him. But other than that, I have a lot of respect for that guy.
Well, Kawika, I want to talk about, before we jump into the 2007 season when you guys beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl, I want to ask you about your USF days. And one thing I didn't know about you was you began your career at Georgia as a Bulldog, and then you transferred to USF.
Yeah, I started college up there at UGA. Coach Donnan did a good job of recruiting me. It was actually down to Florida and Georgia at the time, and there's kind of a funny story with all that. I told my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, you know, whoever gives me my first handwritten letter, that's where I'm going to college. It happened to be South Florida. I looked at it and I was like, I'm getting these letters from Notre Dame and all these other schools. I don't think that's going to work out. But nonetheless, that's where I ended up.
Wow. And Jim Leavitt now, I mean, him being your coach. And when you were playing with USF, they were still in the Conference USA, right, at that point?
No, we were still Division 1 AA. And then we went independent, and then we moved up.
And describe Jim Leavitt to me as a coach. I know he took some heat when he was fired here, and I thought he was a great coach. And how did he prepare you for the NFL?
I think Coach Leavitt got a bad deal, first of all. I thought he was a great coach. He really knew how to win games. As far as defense, mentality-wise, he really had us prepared every single game. And the coaches around him did a good job teaching the scheme, and we played aggressive ball. And you could tell, we were successful on defense, and as well as the team.
If we could skip to that 2007 season, if you could play for the Giants for 1 year, you sure picked the right year. No matter what happened in that game was going to go down in history. And watching that game, even though the Patriots lost, it was probably the greatest game I ever seen, just because of what was at stake. Now, did you know the history like before, during the game, or is that something you reflect on after your playing career?
I knew going into it. They were undefeated. We didn't want to be that team that allowed them to, go completely 19-0 for that season. We knew that was a big part of the history. We didn't know David Tyree was going to have the catch, and we didn't know it was going to be that great of a game going back and forth. Those are the things that I replay in my mind and really appreciate now.
One thing I think back about that Giants season, and I'm going to go back to a game. You guys played my Chicago. I'm a huge Chicago Bears fan. I remember it was at Soldier Field. I think it was like end of November, early December. You guys were like around 500, and you went into Soldier Field, beat my Bears. And I think that's what really started at the end of that season, where you guys started clicking. Was that game?
Yeah, that was a big game. They came out, actually. I remember the game clearly. They came out no huddle, really tried to drive the ball on us. Our pass rush was really on fire at that point. I would say that the Buffalo game as well at Buffalo was another big turn for us, because if we don't win that game, we don't get in the playoffs. So at the end of that last stretch of the season, winning those games on the road, we won 11 straight on the road, and that really, made the difference and gave us momentum.
I think Buffalo had like a big lead early in that game, didn't they?
Yeah, they were beating us.
Amazing.
Yeah, they were beating us, and the weather started off beautiful day. Went to heavy rain, then it went to snow, then it went back to rain. It was classic Buffalo weather, but they were beating us. I want to say 14-0, maybe even more, maybe 20-0, or 20-3 or something like that, and we definitely came back on them.
And then you guys also beat, the Cowboys in the playoffs. They were great that season. And then the big game was going into Lambeau, and that cold, that was a cold game, and beating the Packers. That was a big game.
Yeah, that game was freezing. You would have. That's probably the coldest game I ever played in. But our mouthpiece, you take it out in 2 seconds, the thing was frozen. So it was an interesting game, especially with Brett Favre. At Lambeau, it's always a great place to play, and definitely we knew, he was thinking about retiring and stuff like that. So it was definitely great to go against a competitor like that.
I got one thing I want to ask too about the Super Bowl. Going into the Super Bowl. Your defense, going in that game, you guys had 5 sacks. You had a sack in that game. Going into that game, how confident was the defense in Steve Spagnuolo's aggressive game plan?
By that time, we were super confident. It kind of happened midway through the season. His system that he put together was, as far as simple on our part, it was a difficult system, but it was simplified as far as what the offense did. If they lined up in a certain formation, then we knew exactly what we're expected to do, and we could execute a lot faster instead of having to think about a lot of different things. So going into that game, I think everybody was really comfortable, and our veterans did a great job.
Now, do you think playing the Patriots the last game of the regular season helped you in winning that game in the Super Bowl?
I think so. I think it, gave us a measuring stick of what will work and what might not work. And I think we kind of held some things back as far as at least the play I got a sack on. We did that blitz all year long and didn't show the look that I did at all, not even once. So I think it definitely helped. It made us hungry, going into the Super Bowl, knowing that we got another chance against this undefeated team, and Tom Brady being in his GQ magazines and posting these pretty pictures, I think kind of helped out too.
You made Mercury Morris happy, that's for sure.
Yeah. Nah, we had him hanging up all over the locker room, so we were excited about that.
I want to ask you too. You mentioned the David Tyree catch. You were on the sideline, of course, because you were in defense. And describe that moment. What was the team doing on the sideline? I mean, describe that whole moment when Tyree made that amazing catch.
Oh, I mean, it was just amazing. It was amazing to see. David Tyree lost his mom earlier in that year, and he just talked about doing something great. And his mom said he was going to do something great that year. Even told him this, and it gives me goosebumps right now even talking about it. And just standing on the sidelines, as a defense, we were really mad at that point because we just gave up a drive to the Patriots. And just seeing what was going on, Eli escaping sacks and David Tyree catching more touchdowns and catches he had all season long, it was just kind of surreal, just kind of a great moment that I'll always remember.
Now, what about the final drive after you guys score? Brady gets the ball back. Same situation like in the final week of the season where he hooked up with Randy Moss. What were you guys thinking going into that final drive?
We were definitely worried about Randy. We knew what kind of ability he has and, how easily he can get past some people. But Corey Webster at the time, did a great job along with Jabril Wilson and getting the pass rush that we needed. But he was definitely a threat going down to the last second.
You bring up Corey Webster. I believe he's the one that had the pick on Favre, right, in the NFC title game that year.
Yeah, Favre's allegedly his last interception of his career.
Yeah.
That was Corey Webster.
Yeah, and then and then 2 years later he throws one more pick to end his career. Well, no, actually he played one more season, but yeah, all the retirements of Favre. I mean, that was getting funny for a while. But
that was in overtime, too. Packers get the ball. They go down, take a field goal, game's over, and he throws a pick. And then the Patriots would have beat Green Bay in the Super Bowl, and that would have been the perfect season, but it didn't happen like that.
Yeah, that would have been fun. I could tell you it was not cold after we won that game in Lambeau. As freezing as it was, I mean, obviously we didn't feel anything after that, and it suddenly got warm as we ran around the field celebrating.
Now, also that year, it was Michael Strahan's last season. What was it like winning the Super Bowl for him? Because, I mean, he was such a great player and never won the Super Bowl before. What was it like winning that game for him?
He was definitely a motivator for us. We wanted to win the game for him. We wanted to win a Super Bowl for him. I was fortunate enough to play with some Hall of Famers like Will Shields and Tony Gonzalez. And a lot of these guys, they didn't get to the Super Bowl, let alone win one. So I know it was important to Mike. He did a great job of leading us the entire year, and he's just a great guy, and that's a part of the reason why he's still successful to this day, and really the exact same guy that I encountered the first time I ever met him.
You guys have a bond with everybody on that team, like probably a bond you're going to take with you forever.
Yeah, that's why I kind of joked about, the ex-Super Bowl champion. I just it's something. Well, that title, is something that you hold on for the rest of your life. But the reason why guys are able to win and teams are able to win the Super Bowl is because you have to have accountability. You have to have that want to make sure the other guy is taken care of and make sure that we're playing hard enough for each other. And selfishness is out the window.
We have Kawika Mitchell on the phone. I'm not going to say ex-football player, Super Bowl champion. And former USF Bull, for all you Bulls fans out there. You were originally drafted by the Kansas City Chiefs in 2003, I believe, right?
Yeah, correct.
Was that that 2003 Chiefs team? That was a team that started off, I believe, 10-0, 11-0?
Yeah, we started off 11-0, man. I thought I was on my way to Super Bowl my rookie year. And I was kind of excited about it, but we couldn't get that defense going quite on the right track.
Yeah, that was the year Peyton Manning beat you guys in the playoffs because that was Fonz's Super Bowl Patriots. But it would have been good if it was set up for a Chiefs Patriots AFC title game that year.
Yeah, that'd have been fun. We played them in the regular season a couple times when I was at Kansas City. Our offense was definitely going to give anybody trouble. Peyton Manning and the Colts, fortunately they beat us twice while I was at Kansas City in the playoffs. But it was a great experience. Fortunately, we didn't get it done, obviously. I would have loved to do the same thing with Will Shields and Willie Roaf and some of those other guys I mentioned.
I also want to ask you, Kawika, real quick. After you left the Giants, you signed with Buffalo. What was it like playing in a city like Buffalo?
I really wanted to win for that city. I just think, just losing 4 Super Bowls in a row the way they did, and the fans there, they were just so passionate about the Bills and Sabres, and I just wanted to give them something to really cheer about. Really, it was like they were a part of your life. They were a part of your team. It's such a small town, and they were good to me and my family. So I was really, really hungry to deliver that, and unfortunately, we didn't even come close.
Yeah, it's too bad because Buffalo, they had that string in the '90s, 4 straight Super Bowls, and always great to watch playoff games in that cold area, and the fans were so passionate. And it's been a long time. I mean, '99 is the last time they've been to the playoffs, and hopefully soon they will get back to the playoffs because NFL is always a little better when Buffalo's good.
Yeah, I mean, the tradition is rich there. And, I still speak to some of those guys during that time, Thurman Thomas, Daryl Talley. And, these guys they were some of the best teams that ever played in the NFL. They couldn't win a Super Bowl, but, for whatever reason, they couldn't get it done. But these are still recognized as some of the best teams to ever play and win games in the NFL.
Okay, I want to ask you one more question quicker before we let you go. We're midseason now in the NFL. All the teams now have played 8 games, at least 8 games. Give us a midseason Super Bowl pick.
Well, man, I'm gonna stick. I made some picks this offseason, actually back in the summertime, whenever we found out Peyton Manning was going to Denver, and I believe the Super Bowl is going to be in New Orleans this year. So, yep. I got my Giants going back with Eli Manning, and I got Peyton Manning going. I'm gonna stick.
Wow.
I'm gonna stick by that pick. Who else would it happen to? Think about it. If it's gonna happen to anybody, the Manning brothers, it's gonna happen to them.
That's a great story. In the house that Archie built.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen to the Manning brothers. Who else gets traded on the first round draft pick like Eli did, and who else is able to do some of the things these guys have done? And Denver is starting to look a lot better. New York's looked great all year, so hopefully Denver can keep this thing going, and New York can keep it going, and they'll see each other in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you too.
I'll definitely be rooting for Denver in that game.
Hey man, you can't be angry for so long. You got to let it go. I realized last year that happened again.
Yeah, he was bitter last year too.
Until last year.
Yeah, I understand. That's great though. That speaks to the fans that are in New England. I got a lot of respect for the fans and that team, and Belichick and Tom Brady. So I definitely understand where you're coming from.
I want to ask you one more thing, Kawika, real quick. Going back to that one more time in that 07 season, I believe that was the year Tiki Barber said like Manning was not, Eli wasn't a, he said sometimes when he'd speak in front of the players and try to, motivate him, he almost laughed. How did the locker room take that, what Tiki said? I mean, this was a guy that was a great Giants player and, respected in the locker room. What was the feel of the locker room, the vibe, when he made those comments?
We kind of laughed at Tiki. He decided to retire. We ended up winning the Super Bowl. He did have some respect in the locker room, but the majority of people kind of didn't quite know where Tiki stood as far as personally. On the field, we knew, he could run the ball. He could do a lot of great things. But off the field, that's where that accountability comes into play. And we're not quite sure where that lied with Tiki. And, as far as me just being there for that 1 year, we all laughed at it. We got behind Eli, and obviously Eli is one of the elite quarterbacks at this time and will be for some more years to come. So I think he's going to get the last laugh.
And one last thing, what do you have going on in your life right now? Any stuff you want to promote on our show?
Yeah, actually, I'm opening a gym here in Maitland, Florida. You can follow us on Facebook. It's a competitor gym. You can check our website out, www.competitorgymorlando.com. We're on Twitter, Instagram. It's not a sports specific place. We're going for families and we're going for athletes and trying to help people get healthy and live fit lives, man. So doing some mentoring as well and really excited about it.
That sounds great. And all the USF fans they're still big on you here. I was telling a lot of my buddies that are USF fans you were coming on, and they were all happy. I mean, you were a great Bulls player, second-round draft pick, and it was great to have you on the show tonight. I really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, and hopefully I can get back on and definitely have a lot of love for all my Bulls out there. And, stay faithful, stay loyal. They'll be back, and they'll be producing here the rest of this year and next year, hopefully.
I hope so. Yeah, I mean, people have become passionate about the Bulls the last few years, the last 5 years actually, and hopefully they do get back to that status like that 07 year where they were ranked number 2 in the country at one time.
Yeah, Tampa's a great place to play football. You know, and USF has done a great job. I think Jim built it, and Holtz is keeping it going, and I think those guys are hungry, and I think they deserve to win.
I agree. Well, thank you for coming on, Kawika, and we'll have you on in the near future.
All right, thanks, guys, and I appreciate it.
Good night. Well, that was Kawika Mitchell with Talking Sports with CJ and Fonz tonight. Great interview.
That's great, huh?
Yeah, you got to respect. I mean, the Giants. I mean, I know you're a huge Patriot fan, but boy, that was a great story that year.
I didn't think about that. I didn't think about that scenario. The Manning brothers in the Super Bowl in New Orleans. You know, I didn't think about that because they grew up there. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I know. And you usually think of those storylines and bring them to my attention, but you're right. And Eli versus Peyton in Archie's house. I mean, that would be something.
That would be great, yeah.
But I'm going to tell you why it's not going to happen, because the Chicago Bears are going to be in the Super Bowl in New Orleans.
And versus the Patriots.
Yeah. When they played in '86, it was in New Orleans.
As a football fan, I wouldn't be mad if that happened.
I'm saying it right now. If the Bears win the Super Bowl this year, I will be in Chicago for the parade. That's a guarantee. No doubt about it. I will be at that parade freezing my nuts off in February in Chicago.
Well, I guarantee
I'm guaranteeing it. I will be at that parade.
I guarantee you won't be there if they win.
You watch. I don't care what my plane fare is or whatever. I will be at that game, bundled up, watching the Bears go right downtown Chicago with the Lombardi Trophy.
Oh, my gosh. You get all dressed up, too?
Oh, yeah. My Bears, I'll be blue and orange. Yeah, of course. That'd be a great moment. I might cry during that.
Oh, my gosh.
The only time I ever cried was during Rudy, but that might be the second time.
It's like, relax. They're not even going to win the first round of the playoffs.
We will see Sunday. They're not going to be in the first round because they're going to have home field advantage in the playoffs.
Yeah, in the first, not the wild card, the divisional round.
I'm saying it now. I said it earlier. If the Bears get home field advantage, the Falcons are not going into Soldier Field and winning that game. There's no way. Not when it's going to be 10 degrees at Soldier Field. It's not going to happen.
I got them at 12-4.
I don't know.
So you're going to have to go to Atlanta at some point.
Yeah, well, if Atlanta gets home field advantage, they're going to be dangerous. But 2 years ago, they had home field and they choked it away. So we'll see. It's a long way to go. We're halfway through.
You lost 24-2 to the Giants.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see. The Giants worry me if they play the Bears somewhere in the playoffs. Their defense worries me a little, especially a couple years ago when they played the Bears and knocked Cutler out. He got sacked like 8 times.
Yeah.
So they worry me. Packers always worry me because they seem to have Cutler's number. But Falcons don't worry me. I saw the way we played them last year in Week 1. They dominated Matt Ryan. The defense was flying around the ball, and not like they're doing now. So
you're judging on Week 1 of 2011
Oh,
season?
You were judging the Lakers after 4 games in a 82-game schedule.
You agreed with me.
They are going to be in the finals. It's early.
Lakers are not going to be in the finals. They can't beat who they play. They can't beat the Clippers.
Clippers are a playoff team, man.
Yeah, I know, but they're the little brother of LA, and they can't even beat them anymore.
Who did the Celtics lose to? You guys lost to Miami. Who did they lose to the second game?
Milwaukee was 2-0.
Milwaukee.
2-0.
2 games. All right, well, we got down to 10 seconds. Fonz, one last word before we cut you off tonight?
Go Houston Texans.
Oh, screw you. Go Bears. Bears Sunday night against the Texans. Bear down. How's it going, man?